Galnet News Digest, 15th of December 3306. We read the news so you don't have to.
In this week's news roundup, probing planets is a piece of Child's Play.
Getting paid for just turning up.
The clashing rocks.
Rackham's restaurant and a home for Marlinists.
The Suitors of Penelope.
Probing planets is a piece of Child's Play.
After initial concern that the super-engineered detailed surface scanners hadn't turned up on time, commanders who earned one of these scanners are said to be delighted at their efficacy and ease of use. Not knowing their pi from their r squared, there was an initial confusion about what twice the normal probe coverage actually meant, but it turns out that it meant twice the basic radius, which gives a 50% increase to the scan radius, which, if you multiply the radius by itself and by pi, means that each probe from a fully engineered detailed surface scanner covers 2¼ times the surface area compared to an unengineered DSS. But using the special Sirius Atmospherics DSS, you get 100% increase to the basic scan radius, which means each probe covers exactly 4 times the surface area of the basic common or garden probe, or 1¾ more area than a fully engineered one, which is an awful lot more surface area. In practical terms, this means that with a fully engineered DSS, you can fully scan a planet that has a target of 6 probes using just 4 probes. But with the Sirius Atmospherics DSS, you can scan that 6-probe planet using 2. So, these lucky explorers will have plenty of probes left over for when they get home. Getting paid for just turning up.
Commanders who didn't turn up for duty on Sunday will be disappointed to learn that they missed out on a free Christmas allocation of arcs. The 100 arcs, which is roughly the equivalent of 4 old Earth pennies, just required a bottom on a pilot's chair. And if the same bottom can continue to at least briefly occupy the same or a similar chair each day up to and including the 25th of December, with an increasing number of arcs allocated for subsequent days, there's a strong likelihood that there will be around 5,000 arcs in all up for grabs. And that's just for turning up. In addition, there's another of the infamous Twitch Drops Holovid streams on Thursday the 17th of December, during which you have to solve a puzzle, a bit like defusing a bomb, to link various accounts together. And then you just need to settle back and watch the antics of the Pilots Federation communication team, and occasionally click a button to claim a prize, which is expected to be paint related. Isn't it exciting? The clashing rocks.
The regular as clockwork clashing moons of Synuefe WH-F-CO have done it again. Every 8 days and 1 hour there's a very quiet smashing together of moons A1 and A2, as one of them catches up with the other, passes through it, and they proceed on their way. As they are landable planets, some immensely close-up views of 2 huge slabs of rock sliding quietly through each other, in the way that huge slabs of rock normally don't, are possible, if one is willing to accept the not inconsiderable risk that one might lose one's sense of perspective and orientation, and the equally great risk of ending up flying around inside 1 or 2 moons, which can inflict some superficial damage to the paintwork. The 21st and 29th of December are the next days on which commanders can see this incredible sight, just before their ship explodes in a novel and exciting way. Rackham's restaurant and a home for Marlinists.
In other news this week, Zachary Rackham plans to open a new restaurant and bar in an outpost in the almost impossibly distant and hard to get to HIP 58832 system. Anyone who wants to be there for the grand opening ceremony is advised to hop on board a fleet carrier, which may be the only practical way to reach this extremely distant star. and the Sirius Corporation has stepped in to help the Federation and Empire settle their differences over the Marlinist refugee crisis by building 10 new settlements for the Republican dissidents who fled Imperial space in the face of persecution and whose presence is now causing civil unrest in the Federation. Marlinists are not thought to be the same as the Neo-Marlinist terror group, which has so far assassinated Prince Harold Duval, Baron Cesare Levigny, and a number of lesser figures within Imperial society, and has bombed 4 Imperial and 1 Federal starport. Marlinist leaders have condemned these acts of violence and are said to be delighted at the prospect of setting up home in independent space.
The Suitors of Penelope. IDK how anyone can be excited about what was essentially 60 seconds of half-recycled B-roll and maybe 15 seconds of overly busy, incoherent Call of Duty shooting footage.
Only 15 seconds of that was actual gameplay. The rest was just dramatic angles. Definitely not gameplay. We both know what gameplay means, don't we? And you're purposefully moving the goalpost.
OK, that was a really poor showing. Every single scene has pretty much been shown before. Are Frontier in trouble? The gameplay was not inspiring in the slightest. Why would you do this at all in Elite? So, my growing impression is that the entire headline of Odyssey will be a complete flop. However, the side features of the new planets and being able to walk up to a mission terminal to access current space content will be a hit. Just like Passengers, second biggest letdown in Elite history. But as a bonus, we got the Beluga /sigh. After so long with nothing, the growing impression is Odyssey better be good, but is showing to be a standard Frontier haphazard let's see what sticks release. P.S. OK, I'm a bit uncultured, but lucky my partner was around. She goes, "Oh, you playing David Bowie?" I went, "I thought it was the Beatles." Either way, both are nothing to do with what I personally consider the soundtrack to space.
Quick! We have all the mooners cornered in one place. Get this thread into the airlock and eject it as soon as possible. And that's this week's Galnet News.
And now, it's time to leave the capsule, if you dare.